Our next topic is topic 1.7, forces between multiple charges. Earlier we have seen the force between the two charged particles only. Now here more than two charged particles are given. You can see in the figure that there are charged particles Q1, Q2 and Q3. And now here we are going to find the force on this first charged particle Q1. So as we are going to find the force on this first charged particle, the force on this particle is due to this second charged particle also, and force on this charged particle Q1 is also due to this charged particle Q3. So here what we will do, we will first find the force between charge Q1 and Q2, and then we will find the force between charge Q1 and Q3, and then we will add them by using vector. You can see here, first the force on charge particle 1 by 2 is written, then the force on charge particle 1 by 3 is written. Here these formulas are not new for you. Here the Coulomb's law is used, which we have studied earlier. Now this is the force on first charged particle due to second, this is the force on the first charged particle due to third, and then next step is to add them. So you can see here a simple vector addition is given, that the force on the first particle is due to second also and due to third also. Now both these equations are kept here. This is for force on 1 by 2 and this is the force on 1 by 3. So here 3 particles are given. If there are more than 3 particles, then also we can find the force on any one charged particle due to the surrounding other particles. So in general we can say that the force on the first charged particle due to other charged particles which are surrounding it is given by this formula. This is the general formula for n particles. There are n number of charged particles around this first charged particle. So here we have seen that how we can find the force on any one charged particle due to other charged particles surrounding it. So here to find the resultant force on one charged particle due to other, we have used the principle of superposition. With the help of this principle, we have made the addition of two or more than two forces. Students, remember that this principle of superposition we have also used in 11th standard to find the resultant displacement of a particle when two or more than two waves passes to that particle at same time. Now let us use this principle of superposition in example number 1.6. Here an equilateral triangle is given, and on the vertices of this triangle the charges Q1, Q2 and Q3 are kept. Also given that the magnitude of each charge is equal, and that is Q. Also the length of the sides of this triangle is given by L. Now one more charge, capital Q, is kept at the centroid of a triangle, and we are supposed to find the force on this charged particle which is kept at the centroid. Now students, remember that the force on this charged particle Q is due to this charged particle also, is due to this charged particle also, as well as due to this third charged particle also. So here we will apply the principle of superposition, and we will first find the force acting on this charged particle due to charge Q1. Then we will find the force acting on this charged particle Q due to second charged particle, and then we will find the force on this charged particle due to charge Q1. So individually we will find the force on this charge Q, and then we will add them by using principle of superposition. So now let us see the proper method to obtain the force on this charged particle Q. Here in the given condition, it is given that the charges which are kept at the vertices are same, that is Q. They are same in magnitude. Also given that it is an equilateral triangle, so the length of all the sides are also same. Now the force on this charge Q which is at center to this charge which is at point A, which are separated by this much distance, that is AO distance, is given by Coulomb's formula, that is K, product of that two charges, and upon distance between them and its square. So here the distance taken is L upon root 3. We know that the length of the side of the triangle is L. This distance is L. But here the distance between the two charge is this, and that is equal to L upon root 3. So how this L upon root 3 we have taken, so that I will explain at the end of the explanation of this example. Similarly, the force between these two charge particle Q and the charge at point B, again it is given by the same formula, which is same. Why? It is because the distance between the charge is equal to the earlier. Also the magnitude of this charge is Q, this is Q which is same as earlier. So the formula for the force between these two will be again same, which is earlier. Similarly, the force between these two charged particles will be same as earlier. Again, it is because the magnitude of this charge and this charge is same as earlier, as well as the distance remains same. So here I have mentioned that the force acting between the charge at the center and A is equal to the force between the charge which is at the center and point B, and the third force F3 which is between the charge at the center and Q3 will be same in magnitude. Definitely their directions are different, but as a magnitude they are same. Finally, if we use the vector relation, we have seen in a chapter of vectors in 11th standard that if by joining the head and the tail of the vectors, if we get the closed figure, then the result of that will become 0. So here also you can see here the magnitude of the force is obtained, but as a vector their directions are seen here. The direction of F1 is this, the direction of F2 is this, and the direction of F3 is this. So when we add these vectors geometrically, we will get the answer 0. Now let us see why we have taken that distance from A to point O as L upon root 3. So here the total distance from this A to B is given, it is L. Now this point is the center of AB. So this much distance from A to this point will be half of L, that is L by 2, and here it makes 90-degree angle. Now as this is an equilateral triangle, so this angle will be 60 and this much angle, this much angle will be half of 60, that is 30. So we obtained cos 30 is equal to L by 2 upon AO. Now cos 30 is root 3 by 2 is equal to L by 2 upon AO. 2 cancel, and now if we make the subject AO, you will get it as root 3 will come here and A will move here, so L upon root 3. So in this way we have obtained the distance AO, and similarly the distance BO and CO are also same. Now let us see second method to solve this example. Here we know that according to Coulomb's law, the force on 1 by 2 is given by this formula. Now here there is a r square, but in next equation you can see here it is r cube. How this r cube is obtained? So here this unit vector is replaced by a vector. We know that any unit vector can be represented by a vector divided by its magnitude. So here when we replace a unit vector with a vector, this r is multiplied at the denominator. So in place of r square it becomes r cube, and here there is a vector. Now resultant force according to principle of superposition is given by this equation. We know that the magnitude of all the forces F1, F2 as well as F3, they are same, and that is equal to K Q into Q upon L upon root 3 cube. Why it is cube? That I have shown here. So here magnitude is taken out, but the directions they are different. So the vectors which we have used for direction is taken here as a summation. You can see here the direction AO, BO and CO. which are the directions for these three forces F1, F2 and F3. I will see you this direction from the figure. You can see this is the direction of force F1, which is from A to O side. You can see this is A to O side. The direction for second force is this, which is from B to O side, so it is BO direction. And the third is direction from C to O. Why these directions are away from the point O? It is because the charges Q capital and this Q2, they are positive, they are like charges, and so the force on this charge due to this will be repulsive. So this is the direction of force. Similarly, the direction of force on this Q due to A is repulsive, so it is also away from it. In this way, the direction of all these forces are given. So once again come to this. So these are the directions of these forces. Now vector AO is 0, minus L upon root 3. Now we have studied about the coordinate systems. So this direction is in terms of the coordinates that you can make out from the figure. Similarly, for BO you will get these two components. The first will be X component and the second will be Y component. Similarly, for CO you will get these components. Now putting these vectors AO, BO and CO here, and if you will add by using simple mathematics, you will find their addition as 0, 0. So now putting this vector additions of AO, BO and CO as 0, 0, and if you will multiply with this, finally you will get 0, 0. That means the components of the forces results in 0, 0. Hence, we can say that the magnitude of the force at point O will be 0. So here I have shown two methods to solve this example. Even you can apply more methods also, because you can use vectors in different ways to solve this example. I have given the hint for the third method also, so you can try this yourself.